One, again, my name is Val. I'm fundraising reporter at Civil Society Media and Fundraising Magazine, and welcome to our first Insta Live event. So it's a fundraising coffee break, so to speak. Times are really tough out there for fundraisers, so we kind of wanted to create a space where you can share creative ideas. We can talk about all things fundraising. And hopefully the environment is very relaxed. So, this isn't a webinar, it isn't a virtual conference. It's just, you're working and you take a break in the middle of the afternoon and settle down with your cup of tea or coffee over there. And yeah, you listen to me chatting with a fundraiser about how they're adapting their work and their campaigns to these unprecedented situations. And hopefully, by the end of it, it's just gonna last 20 minutes of half an hour tops. And by the end of it, you can go back to work, you'll feel a bit inspired, you feel like you're ready to take on the challenge. And most of all, you feel like, you're not alone in these very strange times. There's a community behind you that can help. So our guest today is Kelly Gibson. She is head of fundraising at Against Breast Cancer, and she has been with ABC from almost 6 years now, she says. And yeah, so I'm about to call her in live. Hopefully this is all gonna work, but bear with me if it doesn't. Let's see. Gonna give it a second to see if it all works. Yes, hello Kelly. Yeah, we managed this. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm glad it actually works. That was the only thing I was worried about.
Yeah, that was the thing, wasn't it? That Instagram wasn't gonna give up on us. Yeah, so I'll crack on with a few questions, and then at the end there will be some space for you guys that are watching to ask some questions to Kelly as well. But yeah, I'll start by asking you, obviously almost all charities have been hit in their fundraising by this crisis. So how are you reacting, and what has Against Breast Cancer tried to do to lessen the impact?
Well, yes, it's been a very difficult time for us. We really have had to reevaluate how we're going to raise the income. Obviously, at the beginning of the year, we had our marketing plan and we knew what we were going to be doing. And that all got changed very, very quickly. And we had to adapt very quickly. Obviously, we had to turn to the virtual fundraising route, which we have done. We've got lots and lots of ideas, and we've really worked on what we think our supporters would like, based on most of them having trained for a long time to take part in a challenge, a marathon, something personal to them. And it's really about what we can do to support them, but also raise vital income. As a charity, we don't receive any government income, and we are not able to receive any grants. So it's really about how we can work with our supporters and keep that income coming in.
Yeah. Definitely. So you mentioned, you've been turning to virtual, and I've seen that you have some really, really great stay-at-home fundraising events and offers for supporters. And yeah, if you can talk us a bit through them, because, you were very quickly, I think, among the first charities to push them out as soon as this happened.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. We did try to react very, very quickly. We've got a very strong team and a very young, dynamic team. So when we immediately said, right, let's think outside the box, we looked at the toolkits we have and then looked at how we can develop them and work with our corporate partners on that. So what we've done is we've looked into one of our biggest income streams for the charities, recycling, clothes, shoes, bras, stamps. So we looked at how we could still continue to do that, even though we couldn't actually pick up any bags from the doorstop collections. So we decided to look at doing a spring clean campaign. So get your pink on and ask people to really look at if they are going to be spring cleaning their homes whilst they're stuck inside. Could they keep those items aside for us? And that's been very popular. People have pulled items out of their wardrobes that they didn't even know they had. So that's great for us. And we also wanted to look at fun things that you could do as a family. So we've created the film night where you can text donate by watching a film with your friends or family. And we've also looked at the initiatives that are happening in the world and what's going on trending. So we're taking part in the 2.6 challenge. And some of our supporters, especially those that have trained for the challenges that they were going to be facing, like the London Marathon, they've decided to really take this on board, and some of them are cycling for 26 miles, some of them are running on the spot for 2.6 miles, and somebody's even planting 26 sunflowers and donating 26 items of clothes and putting it all over TikTok. So we're really very lucky that our supporters have got behind us.
And so
a whole page of ideas, as you've mentioned, online.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff in there. Speaking about supporters, what kind of is your target? Is it especially young supporters?
We have a very large demographic as a charity. We've seen that breast cancer affects men and women much younger, unfortunately. So we don't only associate, historically breast cancer would have been seen as a disease that affected the older community, but actually it's the younger community that want to get behind charities. It's those that want to do the challenges and create something for themselves, whether it be a legacy for a loved one, whether they're fighting something for a personal reason. There are many young people that are currently undergoing treatment for breast cancer, and there are a lot of people that are living with the managed disease of secondary spread breast cancer, which is what we raise income for our vital research into secondary spread. And we've seen some campaigns coming out of young people that we never thought possible, such as our Precious Stone campaign with Danielle and a company in Paris called BETC. That took our charity worldwide, and it was something that really did make us realise that we need to target and talk to every age group about this terrible disease.
Yeah, and so you mentioned communicating with donors and supporters right now, and I would expect that pretty much every fundraising team in the country right now is trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
At such a complicated time for everyone, and especially in your case you have supporters that can be particularly vulnerable. So how are you going about this?
We've looked at a variety of different ways. So we've historically always sent out dot mailers, so they're a large email sent out to our supporter base, which we're still doing. We're looking at creating our new newsletter. It will be a flip book, an online flip book, and that not only lets everybody know what our current research is and what they could help us fund, but it's also looking at what they can look forward to taking part in later on in the year, and campaigns that they can take part in now virtually. So to give people ideas and give them, at the moment, I think I've read more books in the last few weeks than I've read in the last 2 years. So people want something to read, and people want to set themselves a goal. And I think people just want to do something and set themselves a target that they can do when they are eventually allowed out lockdown.
Yeah, definitely.
So looked at doing some hubs on Facebook, which are really popular. So our Sport and Challenge team set up some sporting hubs on Facebook, so that our supporters that had sort of trained for so long to take part in challenges could talk to each other and give each other ideas on how to maintain their level of fitness. For example, if you were training for the London Marathon, it's now not until October, so you feel you've got to train and keep up that energy for so much longer. So setting up the sports hubs and giving that a community feel has really worked out well with our supporters.
Yeah. Fundraising was never an especially easy job, I guess, but it has become even harder. So, if you could pick one thing, well, except from obviously all this to end and coronavirus to go away, what would be the one thing that would make your job much easier right now?
I think in this ever-changing climate, what we rely on as a charity, as I mentioned, we don't receive any government funding. What we would like to rely on is regular gifts. We will be running out a regular gifts campaign in the coming weeks. And it's just that relied on income where people can give it to us either through payroll giving or a regular gift online. It just gives us that stability to know that we can continue forward with our plight and this vaccine research. And it gives us more of a supporter base and more people that can come forward with their stories for their case studies, more people that can come and volunteer for us, as well as giving us that regular gift. It's how we can develop relationships with people to make them as passionate about our charity and our research as we are as fundraisers.
Yeah. And instead, well, we've been talking about virtual fundraising and how to react to this, but obviously at some point this will end. As the Queen said, we will meet again and we'll go back to doing events finally. So once this is all over, what is one fundraising campaign or event you're looking forward to work on?
It's a tough one, but I think we have a flagship event called the Breast Walk Ever. And historically, it was always a Reading to Oxford event, Oxford to Reading event. And then last year we launched another one for Berkshire. And this year we were launching a third one for Bath. And unfortunately, we've had to cancel the Bath and the Berkshire one. And we're hoping that we can keep our Berkshire, it's a Purley to Abingdon walk on the 9th of September. So we're hoping that one will go ahead. And that's the one I'm most looking forward to. It's one that's been with the charity for so long. It's all encompassing, inclusive. It's a 10K walk, a half marathon walk, or a full marathon walk. And we get the same faces that come back year on year because we change up the routes. And it's just a really brilliant event that everybody loves to take part in. And we've also this year added in the waggiest dog competition. So it's a walk where people can bring their dogs along, which people love. People love that animals are accepted onto this walk. So of course we also had to create the dog bandana. So we had some
Clearly.
shoots with dogs. They were dogs from people within the office, and they brought them in, which was a fantastic day. And we did a photo shoot with them wearing their dog bandanas and ran a waggiest tail competition. It doesn't actually close until August. So we're hoping we get lots of cute pictures of dogs to keep us amused for the coming months.
that sounds the best.
Yeah.
Well, another conversation that's been going on, but possibly not enough, is the fact that, fundraisers are really busy and really stressed right now. But, we all need to take care of ourselves as well and our well-being and mental health. So what's your advice on that? What do you do, when you think like this job is getting a bit too much, I'm going to take a break and do what?
Yeah, so it's very tough. We have some furloughed members of staff as well as staff that's still working. And it's about caring for everybody, those that are still in the workplace, albeit from home, and those that are not. And what we try to do as a team, we've set up a WhatsApp group, and that's for all members of staff. So, of course, there's fun and hilarity and many memes and videos sent back and forth on that. But I think the two main things I would say would be to keep in touch with family and friends virtually. There are some great packages out there where you can keep your children speaking to their grandparents and you can speak to your friends. But also we wanted to give something back to our supporters as well as our team itself. So we partnered up with various gyms and they're offering various exercise classes with obviously a fundraising element, but they can go everything from a gym class to a dance class to a yoga class. So we're all trying to take part in those as well as obviously taking regular exercise. We do want to do our daily walk, and we're all sending in photos of wooded areas on the WhatsApp group that we never knew existed near our homes because we always drove past them. So it's fantastic to get out there and see nature in your hour off, but also have the ability to do some exercise in your home. So that's why we wanted to partner with people that could give that to our supporters and to our team.
Yeah, I guess one of the silver linings is that, you get to see better what's around you, like in the nearest areas of your house and everything, stuff you would never notice. So, well, got just like a few more questions and then I think we can wrap it up. But, so especially right now, if you could pick 3 qualities that, they're a must for a fundraiser, what would they be?
Sense of humour. It's very important. I think many charities, there is always a need for empathy for the people that you're raising money for. So having an empathetic nature is very important, but also being able to bring in humour to it as well, in order to break up that feeling that you can get when you've spoken to somebody that potentially has been diagnosed or has some bad news or has lost somebody. So I would definitely say sense of humour and empathy are needed. I would also say a thick skin, because not everybody says yes. There are lots of people that can't always support and can't always say yes. Previously to being head of fundraiser, I was a corporate fundraiser for the charity, and not every company can support every charity that approaches them. So quite often you'd hear no. So you need to be able to have a thick skin and hear the word no, knowing that round the corner there will be a yes. Somebody will support your charity and your campaign. I suppose thinking on the spot. It's when we had to start virtually fundraising, we had to start thinking of new campaigns. Having an innovative fundraising mindset is very, very important. And I'm so proud of the team that I managed and manage, I should say, and the ideas that they've come out with. And as you say, we were very quick off the mark, and we got our campaigns out there very quickly. And I'm so, so proud of them. So it's that being able to react to a situation and being very proactive. I think they're the qualities you need as a good fundraiser.
And, you know, even at this time, what do you like the most about your job? Why do you fundraise?
I'm passionate about my job. I absolutely adore my job. I raise money for a cause that I believe in. I want to be part of a movement that changes history and be part of a team that raises funds to hopefully find that vaccine, that ultimate goal, in order for people not to suffer of this terrible disease. So every day I go to work with a spring in my step, and I want to raise the money. I want that vaccine. I want to be part of the team that helps to find that and to fundraise that.
Yeah, I think that's something that most people in the community share. I have one last question for you, but first, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn back the comments on because we can have a little Q&A at the end, if you're okay with that, Kelly. So if people who are listening to want to put in a question, you just go at the bottom and hopefully you should be able to. And if you can also say, you know, your name and what charity you're from, it would be fantastic. So my last question for you, Kelly, was who inspires you and why?
Personally, my mum inspires me on a personal level. She is the woman I aspire to be. Professionally, there are many people that I come across in my career that inspire me. But at the moment, we have a fantastic supporter. Her name's Karen. She's our sports ambassador. She is living with secondary spread breast cancer. She's a GP. And while she's going through treatment, she is running marathons for us. She's pledged to run several marathons for us, and she's already run a couple whilst undergoing treatment. And she's also spent time on producing and writing our new patient leaflet so that she can help share the fears and squash some of the fears that people may feel when they're going to their GP or going to get their diagnosis. And I just think people like Karen that show strength when potentially they just want to curl up into a ball, they inspire me. People that will go above and beyond and leave a legacy behind that is so valuable to others. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Kelly. So we've got one question from More Fails Eye Charity that says, hello, our supporters are a majority older, 50 plus, and many struggle with technology, so we are a bit stuck for virtual fundraising that is accessible for an older age group. Any thoughts on that? That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. Unfortunately, at the moment, it is virtual. I would say that they could start trying to approach gaming companies that are being very charitable at the moment, and perhaps looking at something like a bingo game, which is literally just something they could download, or potentially you could send round as an SMS and they could download the link on their phone and play as an app that way. The income would come into the charity. Also, if they have any other fundraising streams, such as recycling, they could look at what we're doing, such as the Spring Clean. I missed what charity you said they were from.
More Fails Eye Charity, it says in the profile.
I've not heard of them, unfortunately, but I am more than happy to share ideas offline. If they wanted to DM the Instagram account or to email me over at kelly@againstbreastcancer.org.uk, I'll happily share any ideas and brainstorm with charities. At this time, I think everybody needs to stand together and offer and share advice. So I'll happily look into the charity offline and try and give them some advice.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Kelly. I'm going to ask one last question myself, actually. So obviously there are so many campaigns going on right now, both emergency appeals, virtual campaigns, stay-at-home campaigns. So what do you think makes a campaign stand out in the crowd?
I think there's so many, as you say, trending national campaigns. I think you have to look at a campaign that suits your demographic. For example, with us, we know we've got a high demographic of sport and challenge people. So we're running campaigns such as Buy My Mile. We know people want to do something whilst they're at home, that's what they want to do. We also work with companies such as Vintage Giving, because and they will give us a percentage back on a campaign that's jointly run, so you get to a larger audience, and work with companies like Savu, who are a shopping channel, and everybody's at home shopping now. Nobody's going out and spending money, they're spending money online. So working with companies like Savu that will give us a percentage of sales on certain products, and working with companies like that, I think those campaigns stand out because you're not just looking at your own audience, you're embellishing your brand by working with partners that have the same views as you do, and wants to reach the same goals. So us working with those charities is those companies is working out very well for us and making our campaigns much bigger.
That sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Kelly. I think that's it. So you can find me on Twitter. You can find Kelly as well. This video will be on Civil Society Media's social media as well, if you want to rewatch it because you liked it that much. And yeah, keep an eye on it because we will soon be announcing the next appointment with our next speakers. And yeah, thanks everyone. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye bye.